welcome to another episode of Super Hard Corgi. We're here at South OC Cars and Coffee. We're gonna go check out some cars. It looks like there's gonna be a big turnout for JDM cars. I've already seen a few R32s come by, so wanted to go check out some cars. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
So here we have the Nissan Skyline R33 Gtr, and coming over to the side here, check out the side canard piece. If you look very closely, you can see that the two pieces are connected. This allows the air to flow through it for maximum downforce, so you can see the opening there. And of course, you have the carbon fiber hood for weight saving. And coming over to the side here, you can see that the driver's side is going to be on the right-hand side. And of course, this is because it's imported from Japan, and unfortunately a lot of this generation of Skylines were not legal in the US when they released. If you want to check out the owner's Instagram, it's right over here, so be sure to go check it out. And coming over to the rear, you have this signature look of the Nissan GTR in this generation. And if you look closely, it has a Japanese license plate, so they flip around when they're at car meets to pay homage to the Japanese culture.
Here we have none other than Toyota Supra. This was the first car that Paul Walker was driving in Fast and Furious, and that's really what made the car community, the JDM community, what it is today. And this one is also imported from Japan. As you can see, the driver's side is on the right-hand side. So very cool. If you want to check out the owner's Instagram, go check it out over there. And really love this rear wing over here. Obviously it's an aftermarket part, but really cool car. It's got BBS wheels on it. Yeah, I wonder how much it's pushing. I'm very curious about that. All right, guys, here's another car that's a favorite of mine, mainly because it was one of the cars that Ayrton Senna was involved in the development of. So it's none other than Nissan Skyline Nsx. The running joke is this car is the poor man's Ferrari, but in terms of the design as well as the performance, it really kind of lived up to that name. It had all the performance that you would want at a track, and the looks. I mean, if you look at the design, it's very similar design language as to something like a Testarossa. So very unique design for its time, made for track. Like I said, Formula One legend Ayrton Senna was involved in the development of this car. So you have the input from the Formula One legendary Formula One race driver helping develop this car. So it's absolutely amazing. All right, guys. So there's going to be a massive lineup of R35 Skylines GTRs. So I'm going to show you guys in a bit. Here we have another Acura Nsx with the Red Bull Formula One team livery. Very cool. It's even managed to fit in a child seat. So, very cool car. As I mentioned, NSXs are developed. The development of the process was assisted by, or they received the feedback from Ayrton Senna in development. So, it's a legendary car. It's a shame that when they made the new NSX, it kind of went away from this idea of average man's affordable supercar, right? They made it into more of a supercar than what average consumer is capable of purchasing. So, but really love how this looks. Formula One Red Bull team livery. How cool is that? Here we have the 991.2 GT2 RS. This is the king of Nürburgring, guys. It smashed the record by 6 minutes and 43 seconds. So absolutely beast of a machine. You can see, I'm not sure if you can see here. You can probably see it, but roll cage to really stiffen up and help with the cornering. Personally, I prefer the sound and the look of GT3 RS. But if you were just interested in tracking and getting the best lap time possible and you had the money for it, GT2 RS. That's the way you would go. Absolute beast of a machine, guys. We got a pretty good lineup of Ferraris today. F12 super fast. Obviously V12 in the engine. That's why it has such a long nose. And I really actually love this small detail here. Makes it look like a race car with a little bit of a livery and the strips. So I really do like how this looks. And as I said, starting with this generation, they kind of moved away from single round headlights to double round headlights. And you can see that also play out in F8. So here's the owner's Instagram if you want to check it out. All right, guys, here we have the 458 Speciale. Obviously, the last of the naturally aspirated Ferrari for the V8 models. And man, really love the attention to details, obviously representing the Italian flag. So I like what they did with the side louvers vents to represent that. And then also all the way down the middle, you have those Italian flags running down the middle. But really love the color coordination on this vehicle. The color also matches the rim, and also the detail, I don't know if you can see, probably hard to see, but interior seats as well matches the exterior color. So very cool detail. Carbon fiber engine bay. It's a shame that they're moving away from naturally aspirated V8s. Starting with the 488, they've transitioned out of that. So I would imagine this thing will retain the value, or if not go up later on as they go into more of the hybrid model kind of a transition there. And here we have the 488 Pista. You can see that F8 kind of took the design language from Pista. So similarly, you have the front air scoop pushing out air over the hood for maximum downforce. These things are obviously, the trim is higher than the base model 488 trim, made for track. Unfortunately, I don't think this gets the track time that it deserves, but because of the value that it is, obviously, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, the single round headlights, they've moved away from that, but I personally love the look of the single headlights. Carbon fiber engine bay. Again, Ferrari pays a lot of attention to the aerodynamics, so you won't see them really have a huge wing mounted on the back, but they will create downforce with things like this air vents that's starting with the front. You have the air scoop pushing air over the hood, and then all the air that gets pushed down goes through that little mini vent right here and creates a downforce. Not to mention the rear diffusers. Most aftermarket parts won't create the downforce that it will, because it's just for the looks. But for Ferraris, you can imagine these things will create downforce for maximum track time. Here's another vehicle that I really like, 765 LT. Obviously, the LT stands for long tail. The reason why it's called the long tail is because of this active aero rear wing to create downforce, as well as air resistance when it's braking under brake zones. So this thing's made for track. McLaren says it creates about 25% more downforce compared to 720S. So serious machine. It is a twin turbo 4-liter V8 producing God knows how many horsepower. Actually, don't know the exact stat on that, but it's supposed to go from 0 to 60 in about 2.8 seconds. So serious machine. Absolutely love the look. Obviously, you have all these mash grill for the heat of the engine to escape the engine, so it continues to produce more horsepower in a continuous high speed runs in the track. So really love the look. As you can notice here, there's holes for the airs to transition for things like brake cooling, as well as to push out the air on the side. So really every design is done to help control air resistance, and that's to really help with track time. So side-by-side comparison here, as you can see, the current generation of GT3s has that front two scoops, right, that pushes out air for the maximum downforce, whereas this one doesn't mean that this car doesn't have a huge amount of downforce, because it's built and made for track, but you can just see the major differences. It does also have this front air scoop to push out the air. I'm assuming it's more to the underbodies, whereas this GT3 also has that, but they have two of them. One that pushes the air out to the underbodies for maximum downforce, the other one for brake cooling. So very cool feature. Another major difference is going to be in the wings. So you can see that with the current generation GT3, you have the overhang or suspended rear wing, as opposed to the last generation or previous generation. It doesn't have the overhang or suspended rear wing. And you can also tell the difference here in the diffuser, whereas the current generation has a lot of these features to really push the air out to create maximum downforce. Porsche said that in top speed, this diffuser is supposed to create 60 kilos of downforce. So major differences. This is the engineering choices that Porsche makes to really make their cars faster on track. So I don't know how they figure it out, but they must pay top dollars to do so. Here's the R32 Gtr. I really love how this looks. Obviously, with any GTR that's imported, you have steering wheel on the driver's right hand side. Check out the engine. The owner just told me it pushes about a little north of 500 horsepower. I'm not sure exactly what's done to it, but it looks like twin turbo right over here. Very cool. Alright guys, so it's a pretty low turnout today, but we still saw some decent cars. So hopefully we'll get to go out to more meets. There is a Tuner Friday that I just found out about that I want to go to. So stay tuned, subscribe, smash that like button and share. And yeah, see you guys next time.